there's something you need to hear, especially right now. Because maybe you've been wondering why everything feels heavy, why your body's tired even after rest, why your light feels dim, or why nothing you used to love hits the same anymore. You're not fading, you're not lost, and no, you're not broken. The Pleiadian High Council, through Mira, has shared something powerful. This isn't collapse. This is recalibration. What's falling away isn't you. It's the weight you carried to hold the old world together. And now, your system, your soul, is adjusting to hold more light than ever before. The Pleiadian message: this isn't burnout, it's rewiring. At first, it feels like burnout, like your fire went out slowly, and you didn't even notice until the quiet became too loud to ignore. You stop reaching for certain dreams. The world's noise feels like sandpaper. Even joy feels muted, like it's wrapped in fog. You try harder. You rest more. You even wonder if you've slipped backward somehow. But this is not regression, and it's not failure either. It's the moment just before the new circuit connects. You've been wired for a reality that no longer fits your frequency. Imagine using an old antenna to catch signals from a new star. That's what's happening inside you. Your energetic body, subtle and ancient, is being updated. You're being asked to run higher light through systems built in a denser world. That takes energy. Not in the way muscles get tired, but in the way wires hum when they're carrying too much charge all at once. Your nervous system is one of the first places this shows up. Sudden dizziness, random emotional bursts, tingles, flutters, deep fatigue. Not because something's wrong, but because your sensitivity has risen. Your awareness is stretching into places your old self couldn't reach. And the body? It's trying to keep up with your soul's speed. That disconnection you feel? It's actually realignment in motion, like tiles being reshuffled to match a new pattern that hasn't revealed itself yet. The most confusing part is that no one sees it happening, not with the eyes. This rewiring is internal, silent, sacred, and often invisible even to those closest to you. So you question it. You blame yourself. But what's really happening is transformation beneath the skin, a sacred update running in the background, preparing you for a version of reality your old self couldn't yet hold. What if all this exhaustion is not because you're weak, but because your light is stretching into places that never had sunlight before? Why your light feels dim right before it expands. Have you ever watched a candle right before it flares brighter? That moment when it flickers, nearly disappears, and then suddenly glows stronger than before. That's how the soul behaves before expansion. Your light hasn't vanished. It's retracting inward for a moment, gathering itself, healing, building strength for something larger. The dimness you feel? That's not a flaw. That's compression before release. In this phase, even simple joys feel distant. Laughter takes effort. Music doesn't stir you like it used to. You might feel numb or overly sensitive, sometimes both in the same day. These aren't signs that you've lost your spark. They're signals that your light is consolidating its power, like water behind a dam, waiting for the next opening. And here's the curious part. Others may not notice. You might still look the same on the outside, same voice, same habits. But inside, the frequency is shifting. The old light, soft, familiar, slightly fractured, is preparing to stretch wider, deeper, and more refined. It's not a downgrade, it's a refinement. The embers turning into flame, but before that, everything slows. During this time, your spirit doesn't want performance. It wants silence. It wants stillness. The soul isn't dim because it's tired. It's dim because it's aiming. It's calculating how to best step into its next octave. You are not being emptied, you are being cleared. The glow returns, not as a flicker this time, but as a steady fire you've never known before. People think expansion feels like flight, but sometimes it feels like gravity, drawing you deeper into yourself before lifting you higher than you've ever been. Emotional waves are not breakdowns, they're system flushes. It hits out of nowhere, a sudden burst of sadness while folding clothes, a sharp memory that leaves you in tears, even though you thought you'd already healed from it. These emotional floods aren't regressions, they're cleanses, old feelings, old wounds, old energy pockets, surfacing not to haunt you, but to leave you. Your system is flushing, quietly, deeply. What's strange is how unpredictable it becomes. You may cry without context, or laugh at something completely meaningless, then feel still for hours. That's not mood swings, that's frequency clearing. Think of it like an internal river stirring up old sediment before it flows clean again. You're not losing control, you're releasing stored static, and often the feelings aren't even fully yours. As your field opens, you begin to pick up what's been stored in the collective: fear, grief, even ancestral echoes. Your body becomes a processing point, not because you're weak, but because you can. Lightworkers are built with emotional range for a reason. You're transmuting energy without always needing a story attached. Here's the tender part. You might not always feel better after. Sometimes the flush leaves you raw, quiet, tired. That's okay. You just emptied a full cup, and the nervous system needs time to stabilize. You may not even remember what you cried about the next day. That's how thoroughly it's been released. No need to cling to it. It served, then it left. People fear their tears like they mean something's wrong. But sometimes, tears are just old energy turning into light, dripping quietly out of the eyes. You're releasing density hidden in your cellular memory. Your body isn't just skin and muscle, it's memory. Deep, layered, often unconscious memory, stretching across timelines, lifetimes, and even inherited trauma. And now, it's releasing, not all at once, but in waves. You might wake up with pain that wasn't there yesterday, or recall an emotion you can't explain. That's your cells remembering what your mind has long forgotten. This is not imagination. Studies now show trauma lives in tissue, in organs, even in fascia. So imagine what happens when light begins to enter those hidden pockets. The body doesn't just glow, it shakes. Old survival patterns, long-held shame, ancient fear, all begin to tremble loose, like dust rising from an old floor. That's why healing isn't always graceful. Some days you'll feel inflamed, uncomfortable, even lost inside your own skin. It's tempting to see that as backsliding. But look again. These discomforts are signs of movement, release. Your body isn't punishing you. It's purging what doesn't align with your new resonance, not symbolically, literally. The cells are recalibrating, and sometimes the release is silent. You'll just feel different, lighter, but unsure why. That's the density leaving. You may not know what it was. You don't need to. Your job isn't to diagnose every ache, just to support the system as it unburdens itself. Gentle movement, clean water, slow breath, deep listening. That's how you assist the cellular shift. Your mind wants meaning for every pain. But sometimes the truest healing happens without narrative. Just space, just softness, just letting go. Ascension. Fatigue, what your body is actually processing. The tiredness doesn't make sense. You didn't do much today. You slept well. You even ate healthy. And yet, your bones feel heavy. Your limbs move slower. Your eyes, though open, feel like closing again. This isn't normal tiredness. This is Ascension Fatigue. Your body's not lazy. It's integrating massive frequency data that can't be tracked in hours or steps or calories. Your energy system is multi-layered, physical, emotional, etheric. And right now, all layers are busy, even when you're still, especially then. It's like software being installed, silently beneath the surface. You can't see the download bar, but it's moving. Your dreams, your digestion, your sudden cravings, they all carry the echoes of this update. The hardest part? You can't predict how long it'll last. One day you're vibrant, the next you're foggy. You start something, then suddenly lose the drive. It's not lack of discipline. It's an internal rest cycle that doesn't obey human clocks. Your system knows what it's doing. Your only job is to not fight it. Resistance burns more energy than rest ever will. And no, caffeine won't fix this, nor will pushing through. What your body wants is receptivity, slowness, softness, laying in grass, standing underwater, staring at a candle. These aren't indulgences. They're medicine for a system that's turning into something new. Not faster, not stronger, but finer, more attuned to truth. It's a strange thing, to feel exhausted while doing nothing. But maybe nothing is exactly what's finally doing the healing. We've just opened the door to something many have felt, but never fully named: the sacred exhaustion of becoming light. And ahead in this video, we'll move deeper into the rewiring itself, why your nervous system is acting differently, how galactic frequencies are interacting with your field, and what Mira quietly revealed about the timelines now syncing with your inner shifts. There's a reason you felt both disconnected and deeply aware at the same time. And in the next stretch, that contrast will begin to make sense, like puzzle pieces suddenly falling into place in your bones. You're being tuned to receive galactic frequency upgrades. You may not see it with your eyes, but your body is acting like a tuning fork these days. Random chills, soft humming in your ears, warm pressure across the forehead. These aren't odd symptoms, they're signs. You're being tuned, like an old radio slowly learning to catch newer, finer signals. Galactic frequencies are reaching Earth now in waves, and your system is adjusting itself to hear them clearly. This isn't something new age or fantasy. Energy fields respond to resonance. As Earth's frequency rises, the human body, especially awakened ones, starts picking up threads that come from beyond this realm. Star clusters, energetic councils, ancient light bands from other systems, not to give you visions, but to support your mission. And to receive that, you have to match the tone. But tuning doesn't always feel magical. It can feel confusing. You'll feel too hot, then too cold. You'll sleep deeply for 12 hours and still wake up tired. You may get dizzy without moving. These are not malfunctions, they're recalibrations. Your internal frequency is stretching upward, and the body, especially the brain and heart, are learning how to hold more signal without shorting out. And then it happens. A sudden moment of clarity, a vision during meditation, a strange sentence you hear in a dream that feels like it wasn't yours. These are the first threads of the new signal landing in your field. Not loud, not dramatic, but enough to remind you something bigger is moving through your system now, and you're becoming a vessel for it. Ever wonder why silence feels louder lately? It's because the signal you're tuning into doesn't speak in sound, it speaks in light. Why rest isn't laziness, it's energetic rebooting. There's a whisper in your head some days, a guilt that creeps in when you rest too long. It tells you you're being unproductive, falling behind, wasting time. But this whisper isn't your soul, it's old programming. In the new frequency, rest isn't delay, it's rebooting. not just physically, but energetically. Deep rest is how your light body receives updates that your conscious mind can't yet translate. You may find that rest comes at odd times now, in the middle of the day, right after waking, moments where your body feels magnetized to the bed or chair, unable to push through. These aren't signs of weakness, they're sacred requests from your higher system. It's like your energetic computer says, step aside, this part requires stillness, and it begins working while you wait. Rest isn't passive, it's a conscious surrender, an act of alignment with the universe's rhythm. You might dream differently. You might drift off without memory and wake with clarity. Or you may simply feel like you've been away, even if you didn't sleep long. That's not fatigue. That's a background process completing a deep vibrational reset. And you won't always know what shifted until the outer world starts responding differently. In this stage of recalibration, the world will tell you to go faster, to hustle, to keep up. But your soul will whisper a different truth, one that sounds like a sigh through trees, or the slow breath of waves on a shore. And sometimes, true healing begins not in doing, but in being still long enough to hear yourself begin again. The 3D identity collapse is part of soul realignment. You used to know who you were, or at least you had a story, a role, a rhythm. You were the helpful one, the strong one, the creative one, or maybe the quiet one. But now, all those labels feel slippery. You wake up and none of it fits. Not the clothes, not the habits, not the name tags you wore proudly for years. This isn't a crisis, it's an unlayering. The 3D identity, formed from survival and social shaping, is collapsing. Gently, painfully, perfectly. That collapse can feel like floating or free-falling. You forget what used to matter. You question what you're doing. People around you might say, "You've changed," and they're right. You have. But it's not rebellion. It's realignment. Your soul is asking for space, not to destroy your identity, but to reveal what's been underneath it all along. The tricky part is the in-between, when you're no longer who you were, but not yet who you're becoming. You try on old thoughts, but they don't fit. Old dreams taste stale. Even your reflection in the mirror looks slightly unfamiliar some days. That's not madness. That's emergence. Your frequency is leading now, and your sense of self is trying to catch up. This isn't about abandoning your humanity. It's about softening the armor around it, letting go of the performance, and remembering you were never the role. You were always the presence behind it. Strange how, the moment we forget who we thought we were, we start remembering who we really are. Feeling disconnected? Your field is expanding beyond the grid. Some days, it feels like you're drifting, like you're in a bubble while the world carries on outside. You hear people speak, but the words feel flat. You walk through familiar spaces, yet everything feels distant. It's not depression, it's field expansion. Your energetic body is stretching, growing beyond the old grid of this dimension. And in that stretch, connection to the old reality fades for a while. It's like a balloon rising through different layers of air. The further it rises, the less it hears the ground. You're not broken. You're between signals. Your old connections, emotional, spiritual, even physical, were calibrated to the 3D grid. But that grid is dissolving. And as your field expands into higher bands, there's a moment where nothing familiar can reach you. That's where you are now. This can feel isolating. You'll crave deep connection, only to find silence. You'll ask for clarity and receive only space. But this space isn't emptiness. It's refinement. You're being protected from noise, so your frequency can stabilize at a new height. Once your field adjusts, new connections arrive. People who feel like home, conversations that fill the silence. But first, the expansion needs silence to take root. And don't be surprised if electronics glitch around you. Lights flicker, phones freeze. These are side effects of an energetic field widening in power and brushing against systems that haven't upgraded with you yet. You're not alone. You're just momentarily above the noise. Relationships are shifting because your core code is updating. Some people you once felt close to now feel miles away. Not because they changed, not because there was a fight, just something shifted. The connection doesn't land the same. You struggle to explain why. That's not detachment, it's realignment. As your core vibrational code updates, your frequency starts to repel what no longer matches, even if you love them, even if they've been in your life for decades. It's subtle at first, a hesitation before replying to their message, a sense of being drained instead of filled after talking. These are signs, not of judgment, but of energetic mismatch. Your soul is moving, and the ties that once made sense are loosening so that new ones, lighter, clearer, more aligned, can appear. This doesn't mean abandoning people. It means accepting that energy respects resonance. Some people are completing their part in your journey. Others are just not ready to meet you where you now vibrate. That's okay. It's not about superiority. It's about clarity. You can still love someone and outgrow the frequency you shared. And sometimes those very people re-enter later, different, upgraded, because your growth becomes a permission slip for theirs. But in this moment, honor the shift. Don't force what's fading. Don't grip what's meant to flow. It's strange how love still exists even when closeness fades. But maybe the soul always knew love was never meant to be a cage. We've stepped into the quieter side of transformation, where the body drifts, the mind rewires, and the relationships you once held sacred slowly begin to shift shape. But ahead in this video, we'll begin to uncover something even deeper. The moments of light and grief merging together, the recalibration of your heart center, and why time now bends in strange ways as your multidimensional layers come online. The silence, the surreal, the stillness, they're not pauses, they're preparation. Why you're experiencing sudden surges of light and grief. It's a strange mix, isn't it? One moment, you're filled with clarity, a soft glow in the chest, like peace blooming quietly. And the next, you're weeping without a reason. Not sadness exactly, but something deeper, a grief without a story. This is not emotional confusion. This is the soul letting go of old frequency and welcoming in a light that's too bright to hold all at once. These surges happen because your energy field is expanding faster than the body can integrate. Think of it like a window being opened in a dark room. The light rushes in, but before it can settle, the dust it stirs must rise first. That dust is grief, old attachments, timelines dissolving, echoes from versions of yourself that can't come with you anymore. You may notice this at strange times. A song triggers it, a smell, an old photo, or sometimes nothing at all. It hits like a wave and leaves like mist. You're not regressing. You're releasing. These grief surges aren't setbacks. They're confirmations that something lighter is coming through. But light doesn't arrive with a fanfare. It often arrives quietly, and the body, sensing its power, must mourn what's being left behind. The trick is not to judge it. Don't rush to make sense of it. Just breathe through it like you'd sit beside a dear friend who's crying for reasons even they can't explain. Your role is to hold space, not for someone else this time, but for yourself. Isn't it remarkable that light can enter through the same doorway grief once used to leave? The heart chakra. Recalibration. Unexpected side effects. There's a tightness in the chest some days, a flutter, a pressure that's not pain, but also not quite comfortable. It may come and go without warning. This isn't a medical emergency, it's a spiritual one. Your heart center, your energetic hub of compassion, connection, and coherence, is being upgraded, rewired to hold more light, more truth, and more direct love than ever before. This recalibration doesn't always feel blissful. Sometimes it feels like a crack opening. Not because you're breaking, but because the armor you built to survive the world no longer fits your frequency. The walls are softening. And in that softness, 1,000 old emotions rise. Not to stay, but to be felt, honored, and released. You may cry without knowing why. You may feel deeply connected one minute and entirely raw the next. Your relationships will feel this too. Some bonds will deepen overnight. Others may dissolve with quiet grace, because the heart no longer tolerates misalignment. It doesn't chase or perform. It pulses in truth. And any energy that doesn't meet that resonance either transforms or disappears. You're not losing people. You're coming home to your heart's truth. You might even feel tingling around the chest, shoulder blades, or upper spine, signs that your heart's energy is expanding outward. It's not just opening inward, it's becoming a radiating field, touching others without words, a frequency that helps others feel safer, just by being near you. The heart doesn't recalibrate through logic, it expands through surrender, one heartbeat at a time. Reality feels surreal, because you're integrating multi-dimensional time. Have you looked around lately and felt like things are just off? Not wrong exactly, just surreal. Like the world has lost some of its solidity. Conversations feel scripted. Time stretches and snaps back. You forget what day it is. You're not losing touch. You're beginning to integrate something ancient, the awareness that time is not linear. And your soul is waking up to that truth. Multidimensional time is where memory, possibility, and presence fold into each other. Your future self is brushing against your now self. Your past echoes are resolving in the background. And because of that, reality begins to shimmer, like water seen through sunlight. Things feel less real not because they're fake, but because your deeper vision is now engaged. And that vision sees layers. This shift can cause strange moments, thinking of someone right before they message you, dreaming of places you haven't visited, only to see them days later, or feeling like you're having conversations you've already lived. That's not déjà vu, that's bleed through. The timeline is now breathing through you, and your awareness is catching up with the vastness your soul always knew. Don't panic when things feel fuzzy, or slow, or hyper-clear. These are signs that your system is weaving multiple threads of time into a new rhythm. You'll stabilize soon. But for now, let the weirdness be welcome. It means the veil is thinning. It means your consciousness is stretching. You were never meant to live only in straight lines. You came here to walk spirals through eternity. The silence you're feeling is spiritual rewiring. There's a kind of silence that feels louder than noise, not peaceful, but empty. You sit alone and feel nothing. No desire, no spark, not even sadness, just space. This silence isn't numbness, it's not depression, it's spiritual rewiring. Your system has powered down one version of self, and the next hasn't powered on yet. You're in the sacred pause between. In this phase, even spiritual practices might feel flat. Meditation offers no insights. Music doesn't stir you. Nature feels distant. You question everything. But underneath that stillness, your soul is stitching new patterns, rebuilding its inner language, upgrading its sense of who it is without all the roles and rituals it used to rely on. This silence isn't the absence of connection. It's the moment before direct communion, a rewiring that removes the middle layers so that when you feel again, you'll feel deeper, purer, no filters, no masks, just presence. And once that new system clicks into place, your entire being will move differently. You'll hear guidance more clearly. You'll trust yourself more fully. You'll walk slower, but with more certainty. But for now, rest inside the quiet. It's not a void, it's a womb. Something ancient is forming here. And the stillness? That's not an absence of sound. It's the echo of what's about to be born. You're not lost in silence. You're resting in the pause between songs.